Hi,
Hi.
Sharon.
Hi.
Hi, congratulations on the film.
Thanks.
I feel a special affinity to this film because I was there at the premiere at South by Southwest.
You
And
were? You
yeah,
got to sing. I wasn't there.
And Nick was two rows behind me. So it was,
Was
so
he
this is kind of,
laughing?
yeah, this kind of leads to my first question. It was something that was really apparent to me at the premiere that, this was a big risk for Nick to do a movie like this. And you could sort of see at the premiere, he was sort of like realizing, oh, wow, this has really paid off. Like because it could have worked or it could have not worked, but it
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
it really worked.
yeah.
And so my first question to you is, were you guys sort of aware during the filming of this movie that, like what a big risk, especially Nick was taking with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Well, although on the other hand, it was one of the funniest scripts I'd read in ages, and the reason why I wanted to do it. So I knew it had a funny script, and I think, yeah, I mean, I was around Nick every single day, and I don't think there was a single day where he didn't refer to the fact that it wasn't really him, that he wasn't really playing himself. It's like a heightened version, and we were like, yeah, no, it's of course. So I think he'd sort of really worked out how he was approaching it, and obviously spoken to Tom and the director and Kevin, the co-writer, at length about it. So I think he sort of had a handle on how he was going to approach it, so it wasn't quite as big a risk. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yes, I think. I watched it with a very small audience. I couldn't go to South by Southwest because I was filming and I was really gutted, but I watched it with a small audience here in London, and it got the same reaction. I mean, people just love it, and they love him embracing it like that, and really going for it. And so I'm delighted the risk paid off for him.
So, what was the most Nick Cage moment you had working with him that maybe wasn't on screen? That sort of was like, oh wow, that is so Nick.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there is a lot of those moments, but he's also really, he's very serious about his craft, and there's no sort of messing around on set. Like, I find it very hard to not laugh at funny things. I just do. And so does Pedro. And so I would often just like crack up at him, Nic Cage, being the funniest man right in front of my face, and he would just like wait for me to stop laughing, and then he'd do it again. So you kind of stopped after a while cracking up, because you're like, oh. But no, I mean, there was one moment where or one day where he brought a recording he'd made of himself the night before. I think it was like he was singing an Elvis song, and he'd sort of like kind of really let loose with this recording, and it was kind of how he was planning on doing the piano bit, where he sings "Oh Addie," the song at her 16th birthday. And he was playing this recording that he'd made the night before and cracking up laughing at himself in this recording. And so that was pretty meta. That was watching Nic Cage laughing at Nic Cage doing a Nic Cage performance. So
Yeah.
that felt quite Nic Cage.
So finally, what was the hardest or funnest scene that you had filming with him on the movie?
Oh, anything where you're kind of sort of trying to make believe being in a high-speed chase, when really you're playing against a green screen, where you're like, whoa, whoa. That's I find those things just inherently funny, and I find them very hard to take seriously. But obviously when you're being chased by baddies with guns, you really have to take it seriously. So yeah, I would say any of those moments where I'm trying to recreate being chased while actually not being chased.
Well, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. I love the movie, and I think audiences will feel the same way.